In case the prop department didn't want it, there's a bad cup of coffee right here. No logos.
No logos, yeah.
We're good.
Hey everybody, what's up and welcome to an episode of the Walk and Love Show. I'm your host TJ Macedas, excited to be here and excited to be with my friend Levi Lusko.
So good, thanks for having me.
You can tell that we're not in our normal location. We're in beautiful, snowy Pittsburgh in April because Levi's
Snow's coming down.
Passion tonight.
Passion Worship Nights, Amplified Church.
We're pumped up. Matt and I are going, we're excited to be going. You're the author of Through the Eyes of a Lion, Swipe Right, coming soon. I can't remember right now.
It's 4 syllables. Imagine you're playing cards with grandma.
Your turn, my turn, game over.
I
declare war.
There you go. Okay. I declare war.
Coming October.
October 30th, yeah.
Pastor of Fresh Life Church in Montana. We're so excited to have you. Thank you so much for being here.
It's a great joy. Yeah, I love what you guys do with Versely and Walk in Love, and I literally never see one of my children not at some point in your gear. So it is how I've raised them. If I ever saw them not in it, I wouldn't even know they were mine.
Right, yeah. That's good. That's good. We want that culturally to be the way your family operates. So we do this show where we kind of ask leaders, entrepreneurs questions from our audience.
That's awesome.
But I have a few questions first, since I'm a big fan, and and it's your anniversary.
Yesterday was Jenny and I's
14-year
anniversary.
So we have a lot of people in that sort of early marriage range that follow us. What is your piece of practical marriage advice? And then Brooke wanted to know what your go-to date night is after 14 years.
So don't do what we did last night, whereas I was in Minneapolis airport with my daughter and my wife was in Montana. That's not how you get a classy, you know. But before you start hating me or unfollow or turn off this video, I did take her to Hamilton a couple weeks before, got tickets, went to Broadway, saw the whole thing, blew her away. So the Minneapolis separation was not my finest hour. So practical marriage advice, I would say this, whatever you feel the least like doing in your marriage is probably exactly what you need to do. And in whatever at times, when you feel your temper going or whatever you feel like saying is usually not the thing to say. That's probably like whatever. Follow your heart. Go with your instincts. I would say counter that. Most of the time, just do whatever you feel the opposite of doing, and you're usually good.
That's good. That's good.
And I say that kidding, but literally there are moments where you just the last thing you want to do is forgive. We just are all so selfish, you know, and it gets in our way. So then, and as far as Brooke. Jenny and I love this lounge at our favorite restaurant. We've discovered it recently. You don't have to have a reservation. You can go to the lounge, and they serve the entire dinner menu at the bar. And we discovered this the other day, so we don't have to have the stuffy courses. We send couches, and that's been our thing lately. We really like that. Yeah.
Our thing right now with young kids is put them all to bed. I go get sushi. We sit on the bed and eat sushi.
You win. Everybody wins. Why does it always involve food?
It's always involves food, and like for us, it's like when the kids are down, you're just like, I made it. We made it through another day.
For sure.
You know, that's good.
And then our big inside joke is on our date nights, I always at some point in the night just say, how are we doing?
Right.
And just trying to not, it says how are you doing or how I'm doing, but how are we? Like treating our relationship as an entity. That's kind of been helpful.
When Brooke and I used to shoot weddings, people used to ask us, what's your go-to marriage advice? And I would say, well, it's really weird, but have someone be in charge of the laundry and someone be in charge of the dishes.
It's awesome.
Separate. And so for the first 5 years of marriage, Brooke only ever did dishes and I only ever did laundry because we each hated doing the other thing.
Right.
But then when I wanted to like really wow or impress her, I'd jump over into dish world and suffer through 10 minutes of dishes.
Absolutely.
Which is the worst.
Yeah, it really is. I'd way rather do laundry than dishes.
Yeah, same here. So you pastor Fresh Life Church in Montana.
Yep.
You do not seem like the Montana type person.
Well, this is Justin Timberlake, but man, he surprised us all.
He's going straight Montana.
Supply yay.
So how did you end up there? I don't know this story because I kind of jumped in after you guys were sort of established there. How did you end up in Montana? And how do you not have a mustache already?
Yeah, you know, that's a really fair question. Jenny grew up in California. I grew up in Colorado.
Okay.
And Colorado and Montana are pretty similar, mountainous.
Okay.
I grew up snowboarding and skiing on mountains.
Right.
And so from that perspective, like I love that mountain culture, life. That's just feels very much like home to me.
See, like I would have guessed you grew up in California.
My wife jokes that I was California at heart,
right?
And I always thought I'd end up there. And we did move there. I went to Bible college there. Jen and I got married, and quickly after moved there and pastored there for a bit. But God just put in our heart a desire to church plant, and specifically in Montana, this ridiculous dream that became like a splinter in our minds that we couldn't get out. So we finally decided. Honestly, this is how it was. It was like, let's just try it, so at least we can get it out of our system. And we'll go. We told God, we'll give you 5 years. We'll just go. If we're not seeing it happen, we'll go to something else. I don't think any of us should feel so permanent in the will of God necessarily. A lot of people come like, we'll serve with you forever. I'm like, how about just right now? I think Paul did. He just go around telling people about Jesus, and I think you just do what you do. But after 5 years, we had seen a couple thousand people give their lives to Jesus, and we were literally like shocked, like big eyes, like, well, I think God might be in it,
Yeah, he might be involved a little bit.
We were surprised and delighted, and so we've been there ever since.
And now it's like, let me see if I can get a Kalispell.
Oh my gosh.
Whitefish. Billings.
Yes, sir.
Salt Lake City.
That's very impressive.
Salt Lake City.
Yeah.
Portland.
That is the newest, besides Jackson.
I feel like there's another one in Montana that I'm missing.
There's a couple. Okay. There's 12 altogether.
Okay, wow. Yeah,
but,
so I'm missing.
But huge, first of all, most people say, doubt Kalispell, how to spell it. They'll be like Kalispell, or so you crush that. Billings, great. We have Helena, Butte, Great Falls, Missoula, Bozeman,
that's a fun
Jackson Hole, Wyoming. It is a fun one. But you know what's funny? Anyone I bring over from Europe, they always say Helena, not Helena. And I'm like, don't you want to not die and go to Helena?
That's awesome. All right, well, so now we have some questions from our audience.
Let's go.
They submit them on Instagram, so we're going to get to those. So question from @mother-of-3 daughters. I think she's probably got 3
Is that her handle?
That's her handle. How do you make sure you're keeping a good family church work balance? And so I would say that's a question that we get for almost anybody we have on the show.
Absolutely.
Because I think it's something that people really struggle with.
It's where life's at, yeah.
So how do you do
I think you balance your yeses with your nos. And just like with your money, you spend your yeses first. And then the problem we get into, like let's say financially, like for me, when God blesses us, if I got $100, I know there's a lot of yeses I would want to put on that, right? I may want to buy something on Amazon or a movie, but my most important yes is honoring God. A walk-in love shirt.
Whatever. I mean,
yes.
Whatever.
Shop. Yes, that's what I meant. I meant after Amazon. I mean before Amazon. So, but if I don't give to God first, there might not be anything for Him. And so I always want to give God His piece of pie first. So if there's not enough for Amazon or Apple, so be it. I'll figure that out. But I'm going to give to God first. So with balancing time, I do the same thing.
Okay.
My most important yes was this morning, my devotional time. The Friday family day, sacred. So I may be in Pittsburgh or whatever, but and this week's an exception because we just got back from family vacation. So we just literally had 11 days together.
Nice.
No phone, no email, didn't work, nothing. Just family, snow cones and sandcastles, And so the Friday family day to me is just how I say yes to my family, so that I'm not letting the whole world in and then losing my family on the way. So I guess that the appearances from the outside in might be different, but I very much fight to try and keep that rigidly in place.
That's really
date nights, family days.
Yep, that's good. Good. Okay, question number 2 from @Allison Rehume.
It might be Rehume. It might not be.
She asks a lot of questions. So
there's no way
to know. I should probably figure out how to
Let's
say
get
it.
her on the podcast.
What is your favorite sermon you've ever preached and why? I can tell you mine that you've ever preached.
I'd love to hear that.
Grace.
Come on.
So I listened to that. I was driving to Starbucks.
Yeah.
And I was listening to it. And by the time I got to Starbucks, you were like at the finale, and I'm like, well taken.
Stop.
And she's like, are you okay? And I'm like, yes, I'm okay.
Oh, I love that.
But that just like that, being spiritual early adopters and like proclaiming what's to come, it's just been.
And how that was tied into the building.
Into our building and our business and it's just been like, I've probably listened to it 5 or 6 times.
So good. So that's really, really, really special that touches you so much, because there's some that you preach that are just like I mean, it's always God's word. Right. It's always going to be without error and powerful. But there are some that God gives you along the way that you're like, there was something really special on that. And I felt that way about that message. And part of the goose story with the walking path, and some of that made it into the new book.
Okay,
so nice. That's exciting.
That's awesome. Yeah. So is that one of them for you?
Oh gosh, now I have to answer the question.
I answered it, but the
that's such a hard. It's like, which one of your kids do you like more?
Right. Yeah.
Olivia, because she's off camera right now, But sermons I've ever preached. I mean, it's hard to compare anything to Through the Eyes of a Lion,
right?
Just because that's so visceral with our family. Mm-hmm. So I guess I would have to call that one. Cool. Yeah.
Yep. Question number 3 from McKinley Waltman. This is a really good question. What advice would you give to young leaders who are looking to help break the negative stigma of the millennial generation and impact the kingdom?
That's so good.
And I've heard you preach a lot, and you're often trying to defend, or not defend, but encourage millennials, because everybody's like, they're the worst.
Why are they so dumb?
Yeah.
Well, I think, what you're saying is, no one gets to pick the age they were born in.
Right.
So to be mad at the millennials because no one went to the womb and was like, hey, would you like to be born in 87? Right. It's like, sure. Right. No, I'll pick to be the greatest generation.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I think my encouragement would be, whatever the norms are, train hard to compensate. So I broke my leg, and after I went through physical therapy, they said, do more weight on the side that's weak.
Right.
So whatever your unguarded, whatever your weakness is, make sure you fight to compensate. Lift more on that side. Mm-hmm. So what do they say? Millennials are entitled. Mm-hmm. They say that they can't keep a job for more than 2 years. Whatever. They don't have the attention span. They can't get off their cell phone. So whatever those things are, just know that those are going to be assumed about you, and fight hard to train on that side of your body.
Appreciative and
exactly.
Yeah,
be the last person they see on the phone.
Yep.
Have you seen that Simon Sinek interview where he talks about pre-meetings, don't be on your phone? I just think that's brilliant. Yeah.
That's good. Question number 4.
And I'm convicted by it highly. Right?
I told Matt today. I was joking when we were leaving to come here. I was like, "You're gonna leave your phone, right? You don't need it. We never need them." And he was like, "I can't tell if you're serious." And I'm like, "Of course I'm not. Of course we need. We feel like we need them all the time."
Yep.
Question number 4 from A_Bradley5. If you want to get fired up by someone preaching, who are 2 to 3 people that you go to for that?
Okay, so Pastor Stephen Furtick. I love Pastor Jensen Franklin a lot. Fired up. Nothing's gonna fire you up like Pastor John Gray. I mean, that guy, he'll take it to the octaves above what's above. What I listen to on a regular basis, in addition to those voices, I love Pastor Tim Keller. Mm-hmm. There's not much I've ever heard. He's not much of
a fire upper. He's more of just like, I'm the smartest man.
He's more like listening to C.S. Lewis. You know what I mean? Yeah. Fired up though eventually, because his stuff sticks to your brain.
Yeah.
I mean, Pastor Louis Giglio, who I'm here in the city with, similar. I mean, he'll fire you up, but you're getting stuff out of it that you're thinking about for weeks. And he's like a mad scientist. You know what I mean? You're like, how did you know that? And how do you know all the stars? And how are you friends with all the astronauts?
How are you friends with all the astronauts? So good.
Sure.
So my last question comes from the amazing Brooke Courtney, who I married. She wants to know, and this is a question we get a lot on the t-shirt side, how do you come up with sermon series, message, art, etc.? How do you guys sort of build out that creative element that you release then in a big way? So we get that when we do collections.
Sure.
How'd you come up with that idea? So speak into that a little bit.
So I would say the biggest thing is to never rely on your memory, because we might be in a conversation, you might say something, I'm like, there was something on that phrase, there's something on that statement. I'm going to do a series coming up here called Up in Smoke.
Okay.
Up in Smoke. It's all the smoke stories in the Bible.
Nice.
Not all of them.
Right.
I mean, there's 50,000 of them, but some of the significant ones. And one of my favorite messages that I'm writing for that series, this won't be till after Mother's Day, so you just promise you won't tell anybody, or steal it.
Top secret.
Preach it, get it all over YouTube. Is Peter's restoration.
I feel like this would have been so good to have a smoke bomb to then leave this interview.
Oh, that would be dope. Can we do that in CGI? Get that in post. Peter gets restored by a campfire, just like he denied Jesus by fire. So the smell of smoke was in his nostrils as he denied Jesus, and as he restored him. And I think Jesus wanted him to always associate the smoke with the restoration and not the failure.
Wow.
So, but that came from a bad season of fires in our city and all over the country, Portland,
Right. Okay.
And I was like, gosh, smoke's so terrible. And then I was just, as I was praying for people who were afflicted by these fires, I got to thinking about, well, is there anything good of smoke? And then I started to think about like how the Bible says God looks at worship as a sweet smelling aroma, like a sacrifice. That's the smell of a barbecue. And so anyhow, I'm like, let's get ahead of it and talk about up in smoke in a good way. Up in smoke. Right. So I just always write crap down.
Yeah.
Evernote, notepad, and when you think you're gonna remember it, you won't.
Right.
And a little phrase like that, like literally, I said something to my creative director about Up in Smoke, and just the other day, she's like, "Yeah, didn't you say you were gonna Up in Smoke?" I'm like, "What did I say about it?" Like I couldn't remember it. And she was telling me back stuff I said to her, and I'm like, "Can you email me that?" That's great.
Yeah, I think a lot of people when they ask us this question about shirts and collections, it's like I think they want like well, do it this way, bam, 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 and it's just not the way creativity works. Like I always tell this story about like we shot some photos in Southern California. We started with this idea that we just wanted to shoot on the beach, and then we went back and back and back, and Salt and Light came out and so. But it's cool to hear other people.
What's the most popular shirt you've ever done?
So the most popular shirt we've ever done.
Like how I just took your job.
Is the Iron Sharpens Iron shirt.
Okay.
So that one we did as a fundraiser for an organization called Men of Iron. They do one-on-one mentorship. So I actually just graduated Men of Iron.
Congratulations.
Yeah. So I was with the mentor for a year. We met every 2 weeks.
Was he like a business leader? Because you're more entrepreneur.
Life, marriage, like we talked about it all. And then I also had a protege as well. So I was kind of I was on both ends of it. But yeah, every 2 weeks for a year.
Same guy.
Yeah, same guy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Is he super successful dude?
Yeah, super successful dude.
Wow.
And just like wise and total, like we have different personalities. I'm more more goofy and he's a little more serious, but it worked out really well. But yeah, that Iron Sharpens Iron shirt, because we did the fundraiser, we sold so many for the fundraiser, and it was just out there in the masses.
People are like, where the heck that come
from?
And then
like, Tim Tebow showed up in it, Russell Wilson showed up in it, Steph Curry showed up in it.
Not terrible.
Yeah, and then just recently Chris Pratt showed up in it, and I'm like, it's only God. Like, it's crazy. But that's the most popular shirt. Probably not one of my favorites.
And what would be number two?
Number two would probably just be the original Walk in Love.
Yeah, okay.
Just because we sell it so frequently and often. We also have had a lot of anything that says choose joy is always really popular.
I like that Grace one. Yeah. I think that one's dope.
Yeah, one of my favorites.
It's awesome. You have some ridiculous stuff. Yeah. It's beautiful. Thanks, it's awesome.
Well, so at the end of the show, we like to give you the opportunity to sort of tell people where to find you, what you got going on, talk about Fresh Life, talk about your book.
It's awesome. Oh my gosh, thank you. The biggest thing right now is we're just moving towards the release of I Declare War, 4 Keys to Winning the Battle with Yourself. And I came to a breaking point where I realized, all the external critics, opponents, all that is fine. But my actual biggest problem is me.
Right, yeah.
And just realizing if I could get out of my own way, then there's no telling what God could do through me, but I'm holding myself back. God literally spoke that to me. You're holding yourself back. And so I just got sick of it to the point where I literally had this moment of like, I declare war. Like I choose to, I'm not going to hold myself back. I'm going to let God move me forward. And so I want to help people in that way. So
awesome. And it comes out
October 30th, but it's available for pre-order right now.
Nice.
Yeah.
Amazon, you're like,
I think it's Barnes & Noble, Amazon, Books A Million. Okay. Once you mention one or two, the other ones get mad.
Right.
So I usually just be like, wherever books are sold.
So the internet.
Yeah, but between you, me, and like the people, it's really Amazon that is like so successful.
Right.
That the other publishers are the ones that will get frustrated. And Amazon's never like, oh, you mentioned Barnes & Noble, not me.
Yeah.
Because they just know most people are just going to Google it. So buy it on Barnes & Noble or Books A Million.
Yeah. Okay.
And prove everybody wrong.
And where can people listen to your sermons and hear your messages and stuff like that?
So the easiest place is YouTube, but freshlife.church as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Podcast. That's how I do it.
Come on.
So whenever you give the shout out on the podcast, I'm like, that's me.
I need to do that more often. Yep. So thank you, TJ. It's amazing.
Awesome. Well, we appreciate you being here. And guys, make sure that you check out Levi and follow him at Levi Lusko. And we'll see you next time. See you. Awesome.
Very cool.